Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Tuesday discussion. Here on Tuesdays, we do make video responses for questions and comments that we get either on YouTube, Instagram, or from our wonderful Patreon community. Love y'all. But today, I am going to be talking about tips and tricks for setting up whiskey samples. What bottles do I buy? Why do I buy those bottles? And what other tips and tricks do I have related to whiskey samples? We love sharing whiskey. Most of the bottles that I have, I'm only drinking 25% of myself, learning what I can about the flavor profile, and then letting other people enjoy those experiences, either coming over to my house or in the form of blind flights, samples, all those type of things. So to tantalize you a little bit here, if you are someone who dabbles in whiskey samples, either giving them to your friends, getting them from your friends, how nice is this? Oh, look at that label. It just comes right off. No residue, no nothing. If that tantalizes you, stick around. We're going to talk about some more trips. So thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. And the theme for today, hey, no floor whiskey in 2024. That is the goal of the year. And for me, there's only one way to stay ahead of the curve, and that is to share more than I buy. So what we're going to go through here are some tips and tricks of how to get started, or at least where I get my stuff. Nothing too extravagant here. Most of the stuff I get is from Amazon. You will find deals all the time on Amazon. There are other sites too, glass bottle outlets as an example, but a lot of the times the prices on Amazon tend to be better. So you can go look around whether you want to support Amazon or not. These are called Boston Rounds. I like getting the amber ones just so people don't have a read on the cover, on the color. And specifically, I look for the ones with the caps and the silicone cones. So it's got these little silicone cones in there. You know, I should have pulled this out before I started this. These things usually pop out a heck of a lot easier, but sometimes I have to do it with a little tool. But it's got these cones in there that just keep this nice seal on the bottle. And I buy these in 1 ounce. That's what I have here. I also buy 2 ounces. The 1 ounce that I buy comes in packages of 108 bottles, whereas the 2 ounce, I want to say, is closer to like 98 bottles or 96 bottles. 96 would make more sense. But those are what I buy pretty continually on a regular basis, either for samples that I give to people as gifts, or even for myself. So I buy the 2 ounce ones. And one of the things I do whenever I'm getting ready to kill a bottle, like, as I said, it takes me a while to get through whiskey. I'm not drinking any given bottle myself all that often, especially having such a big collection in the basement. So one thing that I do like to do is pour out, say, the last 4 ounces of a bottle into two 2-ounce Boston Rounds, and I save it for myself. And I put it away in my closet, and then my hope is I can return to some of the special whiskeys in my collection, say, a decade from now, and share that 2 ounce with a friend, each of us getting an ounce and having an occasion with it. So we'll see if that works out in the end, but that is what I do each time a bottle gets low to the point where I start worrying about, you know, an over-oxidizing or whatever you want to say. So that is what I buy first. Boston Rounds, amber, silicone caps, whole lots of options, especially with the caps, but that's what I go with. Now, the next thing I typically do is I will put an extra seal on the bottle. You know, all those 2 ounce samples that I was talking about that I have tucked away and I don't plan to get into for a decade. I mean, this cap is probably a really good seal, but just in case it's not, the other thing that I get is called parafilm. And just a little 2 inches of this can go a long way. So I just get something like this, tear it out. And what you'll see here is that it's real stretchy. So even though it's only this big, it's real stretchy. and it can just go around this whole seal here and just cover up all of those gaps. So stretch, 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 seal, and just give it that little bit of extra just to make sure I'm taking care of it. Maybe that's overkill. I don't know. Just trying to protect it for the long run the best I can. And that's what this stuff is for, is to try to keep air out. You know, in the back of it, it talks all about lab samples and beakers and, you know, covering it for those reasons. We use it for whiskey. So parafilm is another thing that I buy. So then the last tip that I have for you will be about those labels. Durrell, the whiskey saint, gets all the credit for this one. He figured this out, and oh my gosh, did it save us so much time. So if you're anything like me and you do get these from your friends, I have spent hours upon hours scrubbing labels and glue off of those things. And I've seen other people just give up and they just wash them with the labels on even, which is weird. But when Durrell found these and this trick, I was a bit overwhelmed. So what this is a roll of labels here. And if you look them up, they're freezer labels specifically. So found these on Amazon, freezer labels, and they come off the glass so smooth, you can even reapply them, you know, over and over again. And the thing that I find writing on these, sometimes the pen that you choose doesn't work very well. I use a Sharpie, either a regular Sharpie or a fine Sharpie, if I'm putting a whole lot of detail on there. But then when you're going through and you want to reuse these for future whiskey bottles, I mean, you just take off that label, you just rip off this parafilm, and you are ready to go. Now, when it comes to cleaning these, I know a lot of people do it by hand. I do mine in the dishwasher. I haven't had any problems with that yet. But when I do it in the dishwasher, it's the only thing in the dishwasher. It's just going to be loaded with these bottles. So those are some tips and tricks when it comes to at least how I put together my samples. Boston rounds, silicone caps, parafilm around the top, and the freezer labels that come off real easy. If I can find any links, I'll put them in the description, but I don't really want to like overly promote people. This is nothing to do with promoting any specific businesses or anything. So get your stuff off of Amazon, find different vendors. You see what things look like here. But those are my tips and tricks for you today. So if you have any other tips and tricks, let us know in the comment. Would love to hear what you do, and I'll catch you on the next Tuesday discussion. Goodbye, buddy.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you